audio and video here. Greetings, everybody. We are live and we're going now.
Quiet, numbskulls. I'm broadcasting.
This here is a true story about crossing the pond at night in the world's smallest cockpit on the tanker through the weather. Oh, and to the tanker crew who did that, thanks a lot. We really appreciated that. I'm just kidding. No, I'm not. Well, there I was crossing the pond, and you could see that I wasn't exactly fond.
So there I was, sitting at my desk.
Here's a true
around June of 2023. I received an email from a fella down at PAX. His name was, he actually said I could use his name, Mike Chick. And he's affiliated with the Harrier program. And he had an idea to celebrate, I guess they're sunsetting it officially sometime in 2027. And he knew to plan ahead. And he wanted to commemorate it with a watch. He was a watch fan or a watch guy, and he ran it up the flagpole to his boss. His boss liked the idea. He reached out to me, and we started talking. And he knew the store, knew my channel, knew I'd done like batch runs, for things like this. And there started I don't know, probably 12 to 18 month design cycle of back and forth and government stuff. And you know how that goes and how long things can take to get approvals. And, you know, just to obviously use the Harrier name, it needed Boeing's approval and whoever else. But yeah, now here we are. We got a watch. It's a limited run. We're only going to make as many as we get orders for. So taking pre-orders. The pre-orders will close September 23rd. So about 4 weeks or so from now, 4.5 weeks or so, go to production. And then we're gonna ship them out to whoever wanted one.
Wow.
I want one.
Yeah.
I'm telling you right now, I'm gonna put my order in.
I ordered one. I may order another one. I'll tell you what. This is cool. Greetings, everyone. Repeat here. Kind of a departure from our usual format because we usually have aviators, but actually we do have an aviator.
I was going to say,
yeah. Congratulations.
A little
Mark
bit.
is in fact an aviator. He got his private. He's working on his instruments, so that's very cool.
Hey,
we'll talk to you about some of that too a little bit. But so yeah, we had a group chat. Our show a couple weeks back was with the Young Guns from 542. They threw the link to your video in the group chat, and it immediately piqued my interest. And oh, cool. We'll put a link in the show notes with this too on the blog post. But this is a cool watch, folks. I would go look at this thing. And oh, by the way, two things. One, this is not an advertisement. He's not a sponsor. We love this thing, and we wanted to let people know about it before the window closed and you got screwed by not being there. And secondly, This is Repeat. Thanks for joining us. Where's my co-host, Fig?
Hey, I am straight from the fucking DMV, baby. And I don't mean that in a bad way. Yes, I do. And I've been delayed, and I apologize, but it's really a pleasure to have Mark with us. Mark from Long Iland Watches, right? Long Island.
Yeah, you got it. Yeah,
that's Long Island Watches. And I'm excited, first of all, to talk to you about this specific watch, because in the link that he's talking about, I watched it yesterday morning while I was shaving about 5 a.m, and some undisclosed location I was working, and I was like, holy shit, I got to have one of these. So let's talk about this.
Yeah,
love it.
Very cool. Well, first and foremost, so the origination of the idea was out of Pax River, and working with a guy on design items. We had a question, and I know it's too late now to incorporate it. Was there ever any consideration of putting the squadron patches on anywhere for the?
So I'm not too well versed, like in the program itself, but the case back's got the 4-country consortium that's involved, and that was kind of where it, the only branding, I guess, or plain branding that that they really wanted to do. I think maybe it just leaves it more open, I guess. because originally, it was just going to be open to their community, right? And then they let me open it up to the public, which was very nice of them. Like, to sell it to my customers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how big the audience is on your side, but on my side, I preach to watch guys, and a lot of watch guys also happen to be either they're pilots or they're wannabe pilots, aviators kind of thing.
Yeah.
So it might scratch an itch for them. And then I guess the third prong is, I'm born in '76, so the Harrier is kind of a plane that I grew up with in the '80s,
Right.
80s, early '90s, and to me that was another thing. I was like, wow, that's another audience, just these, whatever generation I am, of people that kind of remember this thing, doing the vertical takeoff and landing when we were kids, and that was so cool. So it was kind of like three prongs that we could attack.
Nice. Yeah, I remember the first time I ever saw the Harrier. It was on television, and I went, "Oh, that's fake." And
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
brother's like, "No, actually, it's not. That's real." I'm like, "Jets can't do that."
Like smoke and mirrors.
Yeah, I was like 11 or 12, and then went on to fly one of those things. I had no idea it'd be my life's path, but so
Right.
very. So, folks, you got to go look at the video. The illumination on this alone it looks like an instrument panel at night.
Yeah, it's cool.
Super Luminova C3. What the
Yeah.
hell is that, Mark?
Are we all going to die of cancer for looking at our new
or-
watch?
No,
Are we
it's
gonna get
crazy
radioactive?
it's crazy how things that are so like basic in watches, I guess, are just unknown to people outside the community. So Super Luminova, well, I guess if you want a little bit of history to take you back to, you mentioned like cancer and everything else, you're thinking of like the Radium girls who were painting dials, for, I guess, World War II. And they were taught to put the bristles on their tongue when they did the radium paint on the dials. And radium, obviously, we know today is
Whoops.
radioactive, and they all got some kind of a cancer and died. And then they switched to something safer, which was tritium, which is an isotope of hydrogen, and that was a paint that they applied to dials. Tritium, I want to say, fell out of favor late '70s, early '80s, because still radioactive. And then a compound was developed that everyone knows is glow in the dark.
Right.
And Super Luminova is just it's a Swiss, or it's part of a Swiss company that just makes this paint, and it's called, whereas like radium and tritium is photoluminescence, this stuff is radioluminescence. This stuff is photoluminescence, which means it absorbs light when it sees it, and then it just lets it go when it's dark. So that's what you see. You see the green. It lives forever. It doesn't degrade, at least not in our lifetime. And it doesn't give off any harmful particles or anything that'll permeate your skin or any stuff like that.
Thank goodness.
Right.
Yeah, don't worry.
I mean, it looks so cool. I'm like, man, and it's bright. Obviously, you put a light on it for the video, so
Yeah, of course.
it would display well. But I mean, it is absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah.
And then the other idea, I have a really nice Seiko Aviator, a Citizen Aviator rather, and the bezel on that got scratched up pretty quickly. I like your idea there. Tell folks
Yes.
what you did
Sapphire.
there.
Yeah, so the bezel insert itself is what's called it's sapphire, which basically is the way it sounds. It's the same thing as the crystal on the watch. So sapphire is a 9 on the hardness scale. So pretty much the only thing that's going to scratch it is another sapphire or a diamond. So the bezel insert, so the bezel itself is 316 steel, and then the bezel insert is a piece of sapphire. So it's an annular ring of sapphire, and it's painted from the underneath.
Yeah.
So
Thank you.
first of all, it's not going to scratch because it's sapphire, but then the paint's not going to scratch because, well, the paint is underneath. So it just shines right through.
Oh shit! So that's the bezel itself.
Yeah. So the thing that turns in both directions, I'm wearing a watch. So this thing that turns, this one happens to be steel, the insert.
Yeah,
that's the insert itself is sapphire.
Oh.
So what are you wearing?
I got a GMT Master.
So you're how old?
It's a 90.
So that is aluminum they were using back then. Okay. So that will scratch and everything else.
Oh, it does.
They've moved to what, Cerachron now? That was a few years ago. Where they're now ceramic. And ceramic is like sapphire. Ceramic doesn't scratch, but ceramic, Rolex figured it out. But you can only fire ceramic in certain colors. That's where sapphire comes in. Sapphire is paint. It's not painted underneath, so you can kind of paint it whatever color you want. But yeah, same thing. So that little disc inside inside the bezel is just sapphire.
Far out.
Nice.
Well, all right. What else? Let's see. The face.
Why the limited run? Is it a cost issue or is it?
No, it's not. It was that was one of the requests from PAX was to make it that way. Yeah,
Okay.
just make it limited. They want it shut off after a certain period of time. And that, as I said, that was one of the things that they mentioned to me. They're like, you can open it to your audience, to try to build, because I guess they didn't know what the response was going to be.
Yeah.
They didn't know how many were going to sell. I mean, I really need to make 100 to kind of keep everybody happy, kind of financially and everything else.
Yeah.
And
Are you going to get there, or do you know yet?
We've surpassed it already.
Nice.
As of this morning, we sold like 110 or so.
Oh, that's fantastic.
So I'm happy, but like I said, there's like a month left, and with people like you, it's kind of just like Sam in the program office said, and Mike in the program office said, no, it's just like kind of like these spider webs are all starting to form.
We're gonna double your.
Right, it's growing legs because
right
people
now.
like you never would have heard about it if some of these other people didn't mention it, right? Because you don't. I mean, man, my channel's got a lot of followers, but if you don't follow it, you don't follow it.
What is the actual link? Is it longislandwatches.com?
That'll work. I own that one. It's longislandwatch.com, but I kind of own every variant.
There you go.
Longislandwatch.com. All right.
Yeah, something else. Something I learned long ago.
Yeah. Buy all of those.
Oh my God. Yes.
Yeah. Very cool. All right. So you told me pre-show that you were an aerospace engineer working with other programs, and so that's how you had some familiarity with Pax River.
Yep.
How did you get into the watch gig? And specifically, how did you wind up? And I'm assuming you've done other. In fact, I know I've looked at your website. You've done other aviation watches. So.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I've always loved aviation personally, but no. So I wound up I was an aerospace engineer at BAE Systems, which is like the former British Aerospace North America division from '98 to 2011, and then shortly after I graduated college, I graduated in '98. Always been a fan of wristwatches, like just loved, I want to say loved them, but liked them. And, my dad had a decent collection of a couple of nice watches. And it just so happens that one day I was meeting my college buddies for lunch. And we were just chatting, and one of them was wearing an interesting watch. I said, what the hell are you wearing? He showed it to me, and what'd you pay? $80, blah, blah, blah. Where'd you buy it? eBay in Germany. And I was like, wow. I'm like, I could sell that. I don't know why. It just kind of popped into my head. I was already working as an engineer for like 3 years. I was like, I could get a side hustle selling something like that. And that's kind of what I did. I contacted the seller, bought 10, sold them on eBay, some of the profit, some of the loss. And it's literally rinse and repeat 20 years late, 20 years on. And I took the same $700 and parlayed it into, what it is today.
Nice. Very cool. All right. Well, I'm both excited and bummed that it's going to be a limited run, right? I mean, everybody wants a watch that's more valuable. And
well, that's why you and I need to buy two.
Right.
And the ones we're not going to wear, we wait until everybody got to have one, can't get one, and then we pay for, the watch we bought. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. And what about so all the collaboration details on the design, that was all done with you said Mike Chick down at Pax River?
Yeah, pretty much. So it was so designer that works for me, Ryan, and a guy that he works with, Silvio. These two guys kind of just went back and forth, all different varying ideas. Mike had some ideas, Ryan had ideas, and just constantly going back and forth and figuring out what's best, what looks best, what's manufacturable. That's obviously the big one. And yeah, we kind of landed up on the design that you see today.
Well, fantastic. It's a gorgeous watch.
Thank you.
I make an order.
I agree.
And not tell mama.
Yeah. I know, right?
So
yeah, they're all going to be serialized after we get it done. How many we have, we're going to make that many. I mean, to be honest, I'll probably make another 2 or 3% just in case. I always like to have extras just in case something happens. Somebody gets lost in shipment or something. I can't say, I can't make you another one. So
yeah, right. Oh, what a concept. Yeah.
Yeah. I always err on the side of caution and make a couple more. But other than that, it'll be done.
So you're going to put a serial, you're not going to put a serial number on the watch though?
No, on the case back.
On the
case back. It'll be numbered. So let's say we make let's say we make 237 watches. It'll
Yeah.
say yours is number 32 out of 237. Literally.
Is there any
Each one
chance
has
of
a
getting
different
one
number.
with the number 223 on the back for repeat?
So I always tell people, and I'll just be honest with you, that I don't reserve serial numbers because it's such a pain in the ass. But however, if I make at least 223 and there's one of those, then yeah, I'll hook you up.
You
Standing, baby.
son of a bitch. He just snaked that from out from underneath me, Mark.
Well, he's live. I can't tell him no. The customer's always right.
Beautiful. Hey, you got the lighter. You got the Zippo lighter, Fig. so-
Well, if you play your cards right, you're gonna get one too, you son of a bitch.
Well, if you play your cards right, I may give you, I don't know, 231. The odds of getting 311 or 542 seem
You're
pretty low.
killing
so-
me.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
All right.
I have a question about
Please.
the technical question about the watch itself, Mark.
Go ahead.
I remember this was a long time ago, about 26 hours ago, when I was listening to this your video. The movement is an automatic movement made by Seiko, right?
Mhm.
And where is the watch going to be assembled?
Yeah, so that we just covered that before. So even though the movement is Japanese, the watch will be assembled in China in one of my factories.
Okay. And I don't know anything about that movement. Is that a reliable?
So when you get
take
back into my space here where I live, Seiko is pretty much the workhorse of the affordable automatic watch. Okay, this is an automatic, right? Much like your watch is.
Yes.
And for all the popularity that we think automatics have, they still represent probably less than 5% of the overall watch market. So
Really?
people don't understand.
Okay.
Oh yeah. You gotta wind it or wear it to get it to run and keep running. It has about 40-hour power reserve, this and that. So it's either Seiko is going to be your movement or going to be Miyota, which is owned by Citizen. Everybody knows Citizen. So Miyota Watch Group or Miyota Movement Group. So the Seiko NH34 is the only affordable GMT movement that has come out of Japan in the last 30, 40 years. So yeah, they released that movement back in 2020 or so, 2021. And it's a dual time zone movement, super cool. 24 joules, hand wind, hacks, 40 hours. It is in a good deal of the Seiko watches that we sell. So Seiko, when they make a movement, right? So this is, you correctly identified as the NH34. When Seiko uses it in their watches, it's called a 4R34. It's the same movement, just unbranded. They are they're in the movement business. They're in the watch business first, but they're also in the movement business, and they sell their movements to the trade, and a lot of them at that.
What do you mean by joules? What does 24 joules mean in the watch?
Sure. So we could go forever. I also have a series on the channel called Watch and Learn that's 97 or so issues deep. So you can go into that catalog. So an automatic watch, right? It runs on a spring, right? Power is all stored in a spring, and that power is transmitted from the main spring all the way finishing the train, pretty much to the seconds hand. And it's powerful spring, but it still is subject to friction. As things get smaller, friction gets larger and larger and larger. So the effects of friction get massive when you get down to the scale of what we're talking about. So to counteract that, every important gear, if you will, or they call them wheels, you'll know it as a gear, is mounted on artificial or synthetic rubies, and that's a jewel. So a typical three-handed watch needs 17 joules. That's it being jeweled to like the second wheel or something. Seven in the regulating mechanism, and then for a bunch of the wheels that go around. For something like this, it's got an extra GMT hand, it's got a date, a couple other complications. Complications meaning anything other than telling the time. 24 joules. So there's 24 little synthetic rubies in the movement. It's not really a mark of quality. Back in the early 2000s, people kind of considered a mark of quality. 30 joules must be better. It's not. But 24 is pretty much standard. Anywhere from like 17 to 26 is what most watches will have.
Okay, that makes sense. So because you can't build ball bearings that small.
That is 100% on point. Yep.
Okay. All right. Very cool. Well, Fig, you have any more watch questions?
Stand by because
Okay.
I'm
All right.
going through my list.
Oh, sure. Take your time.
I want to make sure we haven't. Well, so I saw that it comes with two. Is it the option to
bands.
get two different bands, or
You
does
get
it
it.
come
It just
with
comes
two?
out. It comes that way, and so you get the bracelet and the leather strap, and
Nice.
so that you don't need tools to change them. They're going to have what's called QR pins on the back, quick release pins, and you can pretty much just pinch it with your fingertips, and the pins will retract, and you can swap it out.
That's
awesome.
That's also shit hot. Okay, so the face looks like the fan blades,
Yes.
right? For the Pegasus engine. And I noticed from the video, the canopy itself, when you turn the lights off, the canopy also glows,
Yes.
which is a nice touch.
Yep.
And what was the other thing? Of course, on the back, it's got the flags of all the countries that flew it. And is there a date? Is there a date on the back, like the date?
No,
the Harrier?
there's a date on the bottom of the dial on the front. It says since 1971.
Okay, that's badass.
Yeah, it is.
I don't know. That's it. That's the end. That's all I got.
All right.
For
Well,
now.
cool. So here we go. So you did aerospace engineering. Did you study that in school?
Yeah, I did. I went
Okay.
to a little place called the Cooper Union in Manhattan.
Okay.
Got my bachelor's there, graduated in 98, worked in aerospace till 2011. Also got my master's and my New York State professional engineering license. Just worked for a while. And then, basically the transition out of engineering was simply because my oldest, who was getting into kindergarten, we needed someone to put him on and off the school bus. So
Nice.
I kind of decided to stay home. My wife stayed working. And then I grew the business from there. And today is actually his 19th birthday.
Hey,
Oh, very cool. Congrats to
Yeah.
him.
happy
Thanks.
birthday!
Thanks. And yeah, so that's it. I just grew the business from there. And then eventually my wife ended her career in what she did. She was a controller at a private equity firm.
Okay.
And she came to work for me as well. Now I've
Nice.
got, I guess it's a business of some sorts.
Right?
Yeah, you do.
Very cool. All right. So so you got your private pilot last year. How long did it take you to get your PPL? When did you start doing that?
So unfortunately, that took me longer than I wanted it to. I started that
All of
in
us.
May of 2022.
Okay.
And then I got that towards the end of 24. There was an 8-month stint where I never stepped into a plane due to a back issue, this back issue. And, but yeah, so after I finally got all that sorted, I got my head back in the game and started in earnest, got my PPL just before Thanksgiving of last year.
Nice. What'd you fly it in?
172.
Nice.
Well, congratulations.
And
Thank you. Thank you.
That's
That's cool.
that's no small feat.
No,
As
I
we-
know.
as
I
we
know.
all
It was cool.
Yeah. What was the hardest part?
Whew. And you know what? Believing confidence in yourself. Honestly,
Okay.
100%. That was it. Landings, everything else, sure, difficult as hell. The thing that scared me the most when I started, though, was not any of that. It was we were talking before. I learned that right here at Republic,
Yeah.
and the airspace is it's a Delta, but it's super freaking busy.
Yeah, it is.
And the
Yeah.
comms were the big thing that worried me the most.
Okay.
And now, I'm like, wow, I can't believe you were worried about that. You couldn't land for damn, but you were worried about talking on the radio.
Right. It's
And
amazing
then-
how many people go at non-controlled airfields that are just terrified of actually having to talk to controllers because
Yeah.
they all speak English, and that's hard to do, I guess. But
Yeah, I definitely understand. I definitely got it, and then it took a while, but that was probably my number one fear. And landings, I don't think have still come, so it doesn't matter.
yeah, not for any of us. But
Yeah, exactly.
So all right. Any close calls, scary moments, or funny moments?
Oh wow, in aviation.
Yeah.
One of my solos, when I was just endorsed for solo, doing the pattern, there was some guy literally going the wrong way, doing all sorts of things. And they actually asked me to exit the Delta until they can figure out what to do with them. It was just me and him in the pattern, which was unheard of because it's usually very crowded. And they told me to exit the Delta. And I'm like, what? I'm like, I'm a student. I got to, okay. They're like, yeah, you got to leave. They're like, you know what you're doing. You got to leave. I was like, okay, I'll leave. and I came back a couple minutes later. That was about it. Other than that,
Okay.
just been having fun doing stuff.
That's okay. That's okay. You don't have to have a lot of excitement with that kind.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
I'm okay with that.
I mean, I've had obviously aircraft issues. The airspeed indicator pegged at 40 no matter what I did, and kind of some weird things. But that's schools in it for profit for you.
Sure.
Yeah. We actually had that recently. We landed. We couldn't get past about 60 knots no matter what we did. And turned out there was a big old bug right in the middle of our pitot tube.
Weird.
It's usually what happens.
Yeah.
Usually what happens.
I don't think in 43 years of flying until about 3 weeks ago, I've ever taken a bug directly into the pitot tube.
Yep.
Well,
That'll
good.
do it, though.
So, yeah.
Well, I'm excited, Mark. Thank you.
Thank you.
Coming on and
Likewise.
telling us about this watch. I'm ordering one as soon as we hang up.
Awesome.
Actually,
Beautiful.
And yeah, so
Beautiful.
so people know, so we're closed in September 23rd, and I expect to deliver sometime in the middle of December. I'm hoping earlier. I actually, due to the
Just in
popularity.
time for Christmas.
Yeah, due to the popularity, I kickstarted a whole bunch already,
Okay.
just to get production rolling. But yeah, that's kind of like the goal right now.
Very
Okay.
cool. Well, I'm
thanks, brother.
super excited. I guess I'm gonna have to go out and order about 110 of them to get close to my 223 number. So,
Facts.
but no, I don't think I'm going to have to. I think once people hear this and the word gets out, I think there's going to
Yeah.
be some more coming in, trying to get this widely disseminated as we can. So very
Yep.
cool.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
Mark,
awesome.
thank you for taking time out of your day to join us. We're deeply
I appreciate it.
appreciative that you could, and we're really excited that you decided to build a watch
Yes.
dedicated to one of the greatest attack jets ever made.
Ever.
Yeah,
Ever.
I agree.
So very cool. All right. Well, thank you for your time. Thank
Thanks.
you, everybody. Take care of yourselves. And until next week, stay safe and check it.
See ya.
And where's the
Well, there I was, crossing the pond, and you could see that I wasn't exactly fond of all the shit I was wearing on that day. Now an F-16 is cramped enough, but it's even worse with all that stuff supposed to save your life. But we knew there was no way. 'Cause when you're going down the North Atlantic, man, it's over.
hold on. What do you say, Fig?
He says over.
That's a dumb question. Skip that.
Yeah, weird.
Out. That's a dumb
Take care,
question.
everybody. I'm going to end this. Yeah, it was a dumb question.
That's a dumb
All right.
question. Skip that.
We're out. And Badass is going to buy one. Very cool.
Hey.
Take care, everyone.
He's in.
He's in.
He's got about 7,000 pictures of him.
All right.
Right?
Exactly.
Maybe
Yeah.
more. Shit, he might
All
have
right.
100,000 pictures.
Take care, Badass.